Greetings, fellow epic gamers. Normally, I would have a silly picture displayed on this screen, but somebody threw up on my C-port. So now I can't triple screen anymore. Yay! Summer is a hot season for conventions. I feel like a lot of major conventions happen around this time. Huge conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, Dragon Con, and even the most recent Anime Expo, which I was just at. My friends and I cosplayed as a gaggle of Rock Lees on the first day. A rock slide of Rock Lees, if you will. It was a lot of fun. However, while Anime Expo was going on in Los Angeles, an even more important, historically significant convention was taking place in Toronto. And that convention was Dashcon 2. I think if you're on this side of the internet, you probably already know what Dashcon was and probably let out a little stream of air out of your nostrils in response. Like, not a full-on laugh or giggle or anything, just one of these. And if you don't know what Dashcon was, hi? What are you doing here? Oh, but don't let me scare you away. Come back. Stay. Don't mind him. He's keeping you safe. Just in case you don't know or you somehow forgot, I'll go ahead and explain the original Dashcon. The original Dashcon took place in July of 2014, which was more than 10 years ago. And it was supposed to be a convention by Tumblrinas for Tumblrinas, which sounds cringe yet inoffensive enough, right? Well, the reason why this convention was so infamous and warrants a little nose exhale was because it was essentially the worst run convention to date. I think it still holds that title if I'm not mistaken. Everything was super disorganized, many panels were canceled, special guests that were advertised to be there did not show up because they were not properly compensated, vendors left early because sales were so poor, the venue itself was about to cancel the convention because they didn't receive proper payment of $20,000. So convention organizers asked attendees to help pay for the venue up front despite already paying for a ticket. And of course, most notoriously, the convention organizers only provided a small, sad ball pit for attendee entertainment. The event was a disaster through and through, so much so that it did prompt attendees to do the three-finger Hunger Games salute and partake in a mass karaoke session of Do You Hear the People Sing from Les Miserables. And sure, laugh at the attendees all you want for that, but at the end of the day, they were all truly victims of a convention that was so terribly run, it was practically a scam. So fast forward to 2024, a new account on Tumblr pops up with the username Dashcon2, claiming that they are going to legitimately make another Dashcon. And the first confirmed guest of the con is none other than Strange Aeons of YouTube and Tumblr fame. Like, normally I would just brush this off as some sort of parody or roleplay account, as many like to do on tumblr.com. We love to play pretend here on this website. But considering how Strange confirmed herself to be a guest, it kind of added some legitimacy to this project. Now, myself and many others still had doubts that this convention was going to take place, even if the organizers' intentions were genuine and pure. As we have seen with many other failed conventions and events in the past, it does take a deceivingly large amount of work to run a convention. And sometimes some people just aren't prepared for that. They think they can make their dreams happen with passion alone. Like, they get to this point and don't realize how much money and coordination it takes, and the whole thing kind of just falls apart. Please see the Million Lives book festival disaster that took place recently that many of you have probably also heard about. However, in May of this year, Strange released a video not only confirming Dashcon 2, but also confirming that Dashcon 2 had sold out immediately. Now, I know for some people, this would probably make you question the judgment of the people who bought the tickets, right? I mean, when Firefest 2 was announced and I found out that people had actually bought tickets to that, I'll admit, I was giving some people the bombastic side-eye. But there are a lot of major differences between the first Dashcon and Dashcon 2. The first one being that Dashcon 2 was run by an entirely new set of people who actually had event coordination experience, unlike the organizers of the original Dashcon who had zero relative experience prior to the event. I found it to be all the more reassuring that they actually posted who their main coordinators were on their website, and I especially like that they had designated people who were coordinating accessibility, overseeing the panels, and crunching the numbers. Like, I know that that is the bare minimum for running any sort of large event, but you know, with the way many events turn out nowadays, it does make me wonder if event staff are reaching this bare minimum. The second difference is that the first Dashcon was planned to accommodate 3,000 to 7,000 attendees over the span of several days, even though in reality only 350 attendees came per day for like a total of maybe 1,000 over the span of the weekend. Dashcon 2, on the other hand, planned for a much smaller crowd for just one day, looking to maximize the experience of their max 500 attendees. And because of that, I think that's what made Dashcon 2 a success. Yes, if you didn't hear, Dashcon 2 was actually a hit. Everyone who attended that I've seen online so far had a great time. Who would have guessed? Okay, well, I should note that there was one attendee who was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance because their knee popped out, but you know, that wasn't the fault of the con or anything. The attendee made a post about it on Tumblr. They're fine, and they had nothing bad to say about the con itself. They were able to get that thing popped right back in, and they still had a blast, so no major complaints there. Aside from that, for everyone else, the reoccurring theme that I saw was that people were just freely basking in Tumblr culture with their Tumblr-specific cosplays and the Tumblr-specific events. Everyone there was cringe but free, and I actually heard from one or two Tumblr accounts that this was one of the most accessible conventions that they had attended. So, you know, high-key kind of impressive. So in this video, I would just like to make a report on all of the information that I've gathered so far on Dashcon 2, even though I personally didn't attend. Because while I'm not that deep into Tumblr culture per se, I'm just too Sigma to fit into any subculture really. I am a regular Tumblr user and an OG Tumblrina, so I just feel like it's my civic duty to spread awareness on the success of Dashcon 2. It's the least I can do. They let me use the website for free, and it's really the only form of social media that I care about. Yes, I know it's not Tumblr staff themselves that made Dashcon 2, but still it's related to Tumblr. You know, I have some sort of loyalty, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the cosplays that were seen there. I feel like the types of cosplays you see at a certain convention will tell you a lot about the convention. There were a lot of Mikus. I feel like you're gonna get at least several Mikus at any convention. It's just a requirement at this point. There were quite a number of Gandalf Big Naturals. I saw at least 3. I feel like most people know about Gandalf Big Naturals. It did not originate from Tumblr, but I feel like it was a very popular concept on Tumblr. There was a point in time where you could not escape the big juicy Gandalf Big Naturals on your dash. So of course some big natural Gandalfs had to be there. Naturally. There were at least 2 Dashcon Ball Pit cosplayers, one of which was Tumblr user Ball Pit Queen herself, Raccoon MILF, who is, by the way, the original creator of Dashcon. She came up with the idea when she was just 15, but she didn't do the main organizing of the con. Her idea was hijacked by a group of incompetent adults, so you know, please don't send any hate her way. There were at least 2 Do You Love the Color of the Sky cosplayers, which is a Tumblr specific cosplay. To inform you of the Tumblr lore, if you weren't already aware, there's this infamous post on Tumblr that is like maliciously long. It starts off with the question, do you love the color of the sky, against this white background, and as you scroll, the background changes color to various colors of the sky, and in the end it returns to that white background with the follow-up question, which one? I scrolled through that single post pretty fast, but when you encounter 10 of these in a row on your dash, which is what happened to me and a lot of other Tumblr users about like a decade ago, yeah, it gets really fucking annoying. Anyway, these cosplays are beautiful though. Ooh, another Tumblr specific cosplay I saw were the 3 weed smoking girlfriends. I believe there was also a weed smoking girlfriends meetup where all of the cosplayers cosplaying as the weed smoking girlfriends gathered to do a dramatic reading of the weed smoking girlfriends post. If you're unfamiliar with that Tumblr heritage post, to give you some background, there was this one time where some guy on Tumblr posted this picture along with the caption, "My 3 girlfriends, and yes, they smoke weed." And everyone on the site just started trolling this guy, questioning if the girlfriends were truly smoking weed or if they were just smoking regular cigarettes. And the OP just got increasingly mad and fought everyone in the reblogs to the point where I think this became almost just as long as a post of the Do You Love the Color of the Sky post. Truly an iconic post. I still laugh when I encounter this one. There was also one, count 'em, one Goncharov cosplay. Goncharov was a classic mafia film by Martin Scorsese featuring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, amongst some some other usual Scorsese actor collabs. It was kind of huge in the 70s, and it did make a resurgence on Tumblr about 2 years ago, just because, you know, the cinematography and plot are just so timeless. So kind of strange that there is only one Goncharov cosplayer, to be honest. But make no mistake, this film was a classic Scorsese. I also saw one vote for Mop cosplayer, if you can call this a cosplay. This one I'm not even gonna explain, just vote for Mop if you see Mop in your local election. And of course, it wouldn't be a Tumblr convention if you didn't have some Homestuck, Onceler, and Bill Cipher cosplays, obviously. Yeah, so as you can see, Dashcon 2 had a rich, diverse cosplay ecosystem going on. Congrats to Dashcon 2 for the biodiversity. Let us now move on to some of the events and panels the convention had. There was quite a bit going on for such a small convention, especially because the convention had both real-life panels in physical rooms, as well as virtual panels that were held online on Discord. I couldn't find the virtual panel schedule online anywhere, but I did see on Tumblr that they did host a 24/7 Twilight viewing party, so that anyone who was attending online could watch the entirety of the Twilight film series. So yeah, already that sounds very worth $17, which was the cost of the online ticket. I believe in-person tickets were 35 Canadian smackaroonies. I think the consensus was that all of the panels were very fun. Original Dashcon creator Raccoon MILF even hosted her own panel about raccoons and rabies, with her entire coochie out nonetheless. And the panel did apparently reach max capacity. Congrats to her. I was also able to see a few glimpses of the drag performances that happened at the con thanks to some videos uploaded on Tumblr featuring Austin Powers, Bill Cipher, a drag manifestation of Destille, Eric Cartman, and more. And the performers, I will say, looked absolutely immaculate. YouTube channel Stu, I think, has all of the performances, so please check out their channel if you would like to see all of the raw footage. Aside from all of the stuff that was featured on the schedule, there were other attractions as well. The convention itself did sell its own lemonade, which it marketed as Ball Pit Piss. This is a reference to the original Dashcon, where it was rumored that someone had pissed in the ball pit. The lemonade sold for $2 and was reportedly very tasty. I can no longer find the post, but I did see a Tumblr user say that the highlight of their con was buying the ball pit piss and having this kindly old woman pleasantly tell them to enjoy their piss. Two things, okay? I wish I could also have an old woman tell me to enjoy my piss. And two, I wish drinks were as cheap as $2 at Anime Expo. If I want any sort of drink at AX, rest assured I am spending a minimum of $15 against my will. Unfortunately, with the California heat, buying a cold drink is kind of a necessity. Yes, you can bring your own water bottle and stay hydrated all you want with the free water refill stations, but let me tell you, those are only enough to keep you conscious. They are not enough to prevent you from feeling dizzy. Anyway, back to Dashcon 2, there was an actual horse plinko station. For whatever reason on Tumblr, I want to say 1 or 2 years ago, this gif of horse plinko was trending and was seen everywhere for a time. And so Dashcon 2 organizers constructed their own plinko where you could throw in a horse and experience your own real life horse plinko. Here is some footage of the horse plinko in action from Tumblr user Having a Coke With You. Woo, candy! Based on their exclamation, one can conclude that candy was one of the prizes. Among the other interactive exhibits featured was the Tumblr Sexy Man Shrine, where I believe attendees could pay tribute to a Tumblr Sexy Man of their choice and donate a drawing of their favorite Tumblr Sexy Man to the shrine. It started off small, but by the end of the con, it did seem to get pretty sizable, which I hear is typical of most sexy men experiences. And lastly, in terms of different areas of the con, there was also a hole reportedly underneath the convention. Nicknamed the Child Murder Hole online, all I have are these 2 pictures featuring, I think, Raccoon MILF and then a Kermit plushie down in the hole. I don't know why it's called the Child Murder Hole. Was there a Child Murder Hole story that was circulating around Tumblr at one point? Or is that just a name that the Tumblrinas came up with? I don't know. Let me know if you know. But do not ever go to the Child Murder Hole at 3 a.m. Besides all that, Dashcon 2 also featured this thing called the Crow Exchange, which I do not think any convention has featured ever. The concept itself sounds truly Tumblrinian, but basically the Crow Exchange was this time and place where you could meet up with other con goers and just exchange little trinkets of your choice. Personally for me, as someone who loves to give people little random things, especially 3 king cake babies, I would have loved to attend this. I feel like this is the same concept as like candy bracelets, but for weirdos, you know? I hope other conventions start having this, whether it's like officially organized or not. I don't know, maybe I'll host my own unofficial Crow Exchange next year at Anime Expo. Let me know if you would participate in my Crow Exchange if I ever hosted one anywhere. But let's start normalizing Crow Exchanges. I want to make Crow Exchanges a thing. I love strange little objects. And of course, guys, it wouldn't be a Dashcon if it didn't feature a ball pit. Yep, Dashcon 2 also featured a ball pit, and let me tell ya, a lot of things happen in this ball pit, okay? Luckily, no piss, or I don't know, maybe unluckily, depending on what you're into, I guess. It was a better ball pit, though, I will say. Much larger, looked cleaner, it wasn't set in the middle of some empty warehouse-looking-ass room, and they did actually have some pretty strict rules regarding the ball pit, which was all detailed on 2 pieces of spare paper right outside of the ball pit room. No jumping or diving, shoes must be worn at all times, no sharp objects or accessories to be worn in the ball pit, maximum of 4 people, and apparently if you did do any damage to the ball pit, such as pissing, it would result in a $1,000 fine and expulsion from the con. So you know, best believe no one fucked with the ball pit. It did seem to be enjoyed by many. I think someone Ophelia'd in the ball pit. And yeah, overall, I would say successful ball pit. But that wasn't even the best part about the ball pit. No, the real joys of the ball pit was the fact that there were like 3 proposals that happened in the ball pit, and I believe they all said yes. So yeah, 3 engagements happened at Dashcon 2 in the year of our Lord 2025. Reportedly 3, no one has come forward to claim that they were the 3rd couple, but there are at least 2 confirmed couples that got engaged at the ball pit. And that is already way more than I was expecting for this convention, because I was expecting 0. I was not expecting anyone to get engaged in the ball pit. Okay, but despite the wildness of the Dashcon 2 ball pit though, that was not even the highlight of the con. No, the real highlight was the duel between the 2 famous Tumblrinas, Strange and the Muppet Joker. If you are unfamiliar with the Muppet Joker, they are a Tumblr user, this is their page, and I think that that is very self-explanatory. They are a gimmick blog, they are essentially edgy Kermit, it is a joke, it's all good fun. These 2 micro celebrities fought in the second pit of the convention. Yes, I said second pit. Not only did they have a ball pit, but they also had a dueling pit where you could battle your friends. The duel between Strange and the Croaker took place at around 2 p.m. that day, and let me tell you, that lesbian was not fucking around. Strange showed up that day doing a casual cosplay of Jared Way's woman office worker outfit, and she ended up winning 2 out of the 3 matches. The Croaker was carried away in a similar fashion to how paintings depict Jesus getting carried to his tomb. And then I believe an a cappella group called the Musical Interdudes performed a heartfelt rendition of Man or Muppet, before concluding with a Kung Pao penis. I'm not going to explain Kung Pao penis in depth, just know it's another Tumblr thing, and it's basically the equivalent of 12 Tumblr users consecutively handing you an L. As you can see from this footage, most of the con attendees were here to witness this fight, and this fight was described by many to be the highlight of the con. Definitely a big moment for Tumblr users everywhere. Many users have been concerned because they have not heard from the Croaker since, though many believe that he will resurrect in 3 days, though I don't know, it's been 3 days and I have not heard any mup nor meep out of the Joker Muppet, so who's to say? Aside from Strange and the Croaker though, there were some other internet celebrities that attended, such as Swell Entertainment and best-selling author Jiron J. Zhao. I wouldn't be surprised if Swell and Strange make videos about their Dashcon experiences later, so be on the lookout for those videos as well if you would like to hear from someone who had first-handedly experienced Dashcon 2. Before I end the video, there is one last piece of lore that I want to share that I didn't didn't know where to fit anywhere else. But someone did end up winning an extra hour in the ball pit, a prize that was advertised in the original Dashcon. And I don't know how people found this out or who confirmed this, but apparently the winner of the extra hour in the ball pit was also rumored to be the winner of the original Thomas Jefferson Miku binder tank top. Not sure how true that is. If that is you, please come forward and confirm and let us know if you do wear that tank top. Where do you wear it to? I'm dying to know. Thank you in advance. But yeah, all in all, Dashcon 2 honestly sounded like it was a full-on Baja Blast. Judging by how successful the convention was, I would not be surprised if Dashcon 2 returned for next year. Though I don't think that they should call it like Dashcon 3 or anything. We should keep it as like the second Dashcon, but just get like creative with the title. Dashcon 2 Fast 2 Furious, Dashcon 2 The Squeakquel, Dashcon 2 Electric Boogaloo, take your pick. My second request, not that I'm in any position to make requests, but you know, my second wish would be to not make it during the July 4th week or anywhere around that time, because I can't not attend Anime Expo, and Anime Expo happens around the July 4th weekend every year, but hot damn, I would really want to attend Dashcon. It pained me that these two conventions happened at the same time. Again, I know I'm in no position to request anything, and I don't even know if the creators of Dashcon 2 are going to see this video, but if possible, if you are planning on making another Dashcon 2, I pray that you hear my plea. Please do not host it in July. But yeah, I and a lot of other Tumblr users are relieved that we are able to finally have a good Dashcon. It just sounded like such a wholesome time where people felt free to be their genuine selves, and that's fucking awesome. But yeah, folks, did you hear about Dashcon 2? Was there anything that I missed? Did you personally attend? Please let me know in the comments below. Sorry if I seemed lower energy this video. Post-con depression is low-key hitting me hard right now, and to be quite honest, I am just straight up recovering from like 5 different hangovers. Anyway guys, if you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like, and I will see you in my next one. Okay, bye.
I reflect on my reflection, and I ask myself the question.